All right, good evening. Welcome to Maryland Metals video series. It's January 25th in the evening, and we are in Clarksburg, Maryland at our headquarters. We're going to talk tonight about the leadership of the Federal Reserve. We're going to talk about the hard money people. There's a whole community I don't know if you know about. We're going to talk about that tonight of the hard money and these folks, the conservative folks that talk about returning to the gold standard and their whole writings. And then we're going to get into some beautiful precious metals that we have here tonight. So let's talk about the Federal Reserve. We all know about Alan Greenspan in the early 80s, Ben Bernanke, Janet Yellen, and now Jeremy Powell. Interestingly, I used to attend Congregation Hearts. Sharet Tzedek is a B'nai Tzedek in Potomac, a nice synagogue. Rabbi Stuart Weinblatt, who's very close to my father, Rabbi Reuben Lamon, who actually, by the way, is the chairman of the board, Rabbi Lamon. He lives in Jerusalem. He was a big investor in this. He used to collect coins for fun on the side. And, he understands the value here. And, he's still into stocks, but he likes the precious metals. Now, all three, Greenspan, interestingly, Bernanke and Yellen, all used to go to that synagogue. I used to go Friday night. It's a conservative synagogue in Potomac, Maryland, a beautiful area. And these people have PhDs and degrees from Harvard, Yale, MIT, and those folks who think that these folks don't know what they're talking about or don't understand the economy and obviously don't have much of a background. In fact, here's one guy. His name is Mike Maloney. He runs around the internet. Interesting videos. He dropped out of high school in the 10th grade, and that tells you enough of what you need to know. And yet here he is running around criticizing them as if they don't know anything about economics. So the problem is we have a lot of these folks. Maybe they got a bachelor's at most, maybe not. And they run around saying they've discovered that precious metals are everything and economics. They don't, those of us who have studied economics, I have a master's in business administration and a law degree from Georgetown. And even then, I only scratched the surface of economics. I took micro, macro. Those people who think that they don't know what they're talking about, obviously, they're the ones who don't know. And they create all this. They believe the cabal of evil empire. They talk about Jewish people, for instance. Meanwhile, Jewish people who have been studying the Talmud for 3,000 years, over 2,000 years, have been studying the law and economics and how the business market works, from the Rothschilds, the Warburgs, to the greatest, the Goldman Sachs, to Lehman Brothers. These are all Jewish families, Guggenheim. And even today, these are people who worked their entire lives and studied economics. How do you run a business properly? It's not about games. So let's go into this other world that you'll hear about if you study precious metals. You have people starting with Bill Bonner, for instance. He did go to Georgetown Law, but then he never practiced law and he went to Baltimore. And Baltimore is the place where there's headquarters of these right-wing conservative folks. You have people like Doug Casey, Rick Checkin. I worked for ASI, another right-wing guy. You have Mike Maloney, I spoke about. Interesting. Definitely watch his videos on the hidden secrets of money. They're great. They're very interesting. And he has some education and some knowledge, and he does understand. He has some interesting points. Porter Stansberry's big now. Of course, he was convicted of, what was he convicted of? Of some sort of scheme. You have Steve Sugarroot, actually has a PhD in finance, was a hedge fund guy. Rand Paul, who was a doctor, somehow got into politics, and he's a doctor. Jim Rickards actually is a real time. Jim Rickards has a master's and a JD from the University of Pennsylvania, and he was involved with some of the biggest stuff. So you can definitely trust things that Jim Rickards, although he talks very quickly and he kind of comes to conclusions and was never really in the government, but he's sort of an outside advisor. And then you have other folks. So what I'm saying is read all their writings, take it with a grain of salt, understand that they have an edge. They're trying to sell you something. Stansberry Research, they're trying to make money off of their publications, for instance. Peter Schiff, we didn't talk about Peter Schiff. His father died in prison from tax fraud, but he did, I believe, get a bachelor's. I think he lives somewhere in Puerto Rico. He's not in the United States. And he started Euro Pacific on the West Coast, so he sells precious metals, investments, and he has a lot of interesting things to say. He's a hard money guy, and all these people basically believe that the same thing that I've been saying here in Maryland Metal. The United States dollar is no longer backed by anything. We all know that. Nixon took us off that completely. And the the problem is that we're inflating dollars, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of the economics that studies all of this, from Ben Bernanke, the idea that you spend more during the Great Depression, if you read his writings, so that we can spend our way out of the depression. But it all is based on the fact that the dollar has some sort of value, which it really doesn't, and we do have to return to the gold standard. So everybody, there's truth in everything in this world. We need to realize that real knowledge understands that there's truth in everything, and we come to a conclusion that there's sort of a midway balance between the very smart, educated PhDs in economics and then the hard money folks. And we can create a balance, but we do have to realize that there's no evil cabal trying to destroy the world. America is in a very difficult place because we've overspent for years and we've lost touch with the reality of real money, and there is some real money right there, and we need to get back to that. So all of that being said, let's get right into some real money, precious metals. Let's start with an 1899 Morgan silver dollar. This was your dollar back in 1899. This was minted in New Orleans. They had a nice mint. 12 million of these were minted with the Liberty. We found a lot of silver back then in Nevada and the West Coast, and we minted it. And the U.S. was on a bimetallic standard of silver and gold. It's 0.77 ounces. The melt value is only $22. Yet we're charging, as you can see here on our eBay store, $65. So that's because of the rare coin value. There's just not that many. And this is in mint state 62. That's pretty high. So it's not flawless, but it's nearly a mint state. So that's a great way to hold silver with the rare coin value, and this will just continue to go up as we inflate the dollar. We are just printing dollars and other currencies around the world, from the pound to the Deutschmark to the Russian ruble to Indian rupees and South African Kruger. Everything is just amazingly inflated now. Now we'll go to 1988. This is an amazing coin, 1/4 ounce platinum koala from Australia. The rear has the queen, so that's authenticated. Platinum is what I believe the best investment today. There is just so little platinum. It's being mined at the same rate as palladium, and in a very small percentage to gold and into silver. And it's being used as money. It's being used in cars to clean the exhausts in combustion engines. And this one we have listed on our eBay and our website. You can also make an offer for $550 because it's not just platinum and has a little rare coin value. And it is there was only a certain number of minted back then. You just don't find them. Then we're going to go 2007. This is a great one, talking about platinum. 1/2 ounce of platinum, the American Eagle. But this is proof 70, the highest condition, decam, deep cameo, which means there's a difference. The surfaces is frosted and then proofed like, so it's deep cameo finish. There's a contrast between the Liberty face, which is kind of frosted, and then the shiny background, and then it says $50, but it's a lot more. United States of America, the design was an eagle this year, and 0.9949 fine platinum. Now, platinum is only at $1,100, but we're charging $900 because this coin is just rare and it's hard to find, and it's in deep cameo, and it's perfect. So we're just going to wait and see as platinum rises what happens. Let's go to this beautiful gold Chinese panda, 10 yuan. Give me a moment here. It's a 1/10 ounce. Let's see if you can see that. 1986. There's a panda on the front. So that's a nice one. 1986. They're talking about the early years that the panda minted. And then you have the sort of the Beijing, where the emperors lived in Beijing, Forbidden City in China. And this is 99 point, I think it's 4 nines, but it might even be more than that. It's 3 nines fine, not 4 nines. We have it listed for $295. The pandas do sell at an extreme premium to the other 1/10 ounce pieces because of the Chinese demand for gold as well as the rarity. And this is just what's coming to everything else, meaning the gold is going to continue to rise. And now we have a beautiful, what's called bullion, a 10 ounce Engelhard. Engelhard was a big precious metals silver dealer. Back in the day, they closed down. I think they were bought out. They got into other businesses. But anyway, this is Engelhard, and it sells as a premium. Let's see if we have that here. Okay, it is 10 ounces, $9.99, 3 nines fine. They have more collectability because they went out of business. Definitely read about the history of Engelhard. The founder was very interesting in bullion business, and it was listed at $400, even though silver's only at 25, because we believe that silver's going to go up, and it's a rare piece. And then finally, we have a history of gold. This is a half a gram, and it's 14 karat, and these are great from the American Mint. And it goes over the history of gold. In early 1933, gold was made it removed from circulation, and then 1936, the Fort Knox was built in Kentucky, and that's where they put the U.S.'s gold. We have 8,133 tons right now. We store it also in New York, mostly in Fort Knox, but also in the Federal Reserve under the building in New York City. We also store other countries' gold still there, and they're all trying to get it back because it's so valuable right now. Germany, France, Italy. And it's safe, but why in New York City? It doesn't make sense. Fort Knox is much safer. Everyone's going to try to get their gold back. China and Russia right now are buying gold by the tons every day. They're buying it from Venezuela. They're buying it. They're getting off the gold standard. They realize they're holding all of this U.S. debt, treasury bonds that's going to become worthless. They're borrowing. They're paying money. They're lending money to a government that doesn't have any money. We're completely in debt. And every other country needs to realize this gold is on its way up. 5, 10, it can go as high as 30,000 or more. Again, Maryland Metal US, www.marylandmetal.us. We welcome you to our website to learn more. We're going to have videos. We're going to get everybody ready for what's coming. Is it going to happen during the Biden year? We see what happened to cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is at 33,000. There's no reason why gold can't get to the same level. I'll say that here again. And cryptocurrencies have no intrinsic value. They're all hocus pocus pie in the sky. Peter Schiff also agrees and says that. And continue to trade them up, but eventually their value will go to their intrinsic value, which is zero, just like paper dollars. Their intrinsic value is zero. All right. Again, my number 301-284-0521, marylandmetal.us. We have an eBay store, and we got bullion from all the big dealers who actually buy directly from the mint, and we can get them to you sometimes with free shipping as well. Have a great evening, and thank you for your time.